Hi everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Ian is a Weirdo. So today I'm going to be sewing together we're continuing to sew together the work I've done on my little crochet hook holder. It's still got, let's tilt this camera up a little bit. That's better. Okay. So it's pretty difficult on the hands without having a stitch saddle or something like that, stitch pony. So these gloves are helping a little bit, but I think I found one on Amazon for like $17, so it might be worth it. It's always hard when these little fingers get all turned inside out because I'm like, how do I flip these around? Okay. I've been using these gloves a lot for everything lately. But yeah, they help with kind of the hand pain. Now, so I use so these are the what are they called? The stitch like the diamond pointed stitch stamps that you can use for your to mark your stitches, so you're not stitching directly through unpunched leather. Like, it has a hole in it. However, depending on how thick your leather is, it and like what you're doing, like, it might not go through both layers, or however you decided to punch your holes. So it can be a little bit tricky because it might not have poked through everything. And especially if you're doing something like thicker or that's a little bit curved. I know when I made my leather my bracelets, like this is like belt loop thickness of leather, and then I came and I skived off part of the leather like here, so it's not as thick. But even then, I was trying to go and the loop is much thinner than the rest of it, but it was still really thick, and so just going through all of this leather, so hard. Oh my gosh. So I trying to preserve my hands for as much crochet as I can do. We'll watch another zombie movie tonight. We watched Dawn of the Dead last night. We discovered that a lot of the zombie movies that I had listed were not available, so that's a little bit of a bummer. Because we had a lot of zombie movies, and like I think 3 got knocked out of the race like right off the bat. On like night 3 of like zombie movies. So these are just some compression gloves I got off of Amazon. I have less hand problems than I have wrist problems for sure. But that doesn't mean that my hands don't hurt sometimes. So I'm doing a saddle stitch on this, and I'm using kind of my mat to help push through both sides. And so it's going to be nice and secure. I wet the bottom before I folded it, so it's got that pleating that should, once there's a hook inside. It should be able to hold it. Now, obviously, I have to sew up the other side so that it's kind of like that. The felt and the the felt and the plastic canvas are in here already. Yeah, I feel like there's also some things that I did in maybe like an order that now I'm like, maybe I should have done that in a different order. So I'm glad that I went in with like a trial, like let's learn from this mindset, because whenever you're making something for the first time, rarely are you ever going to just like get it right off the bat. And so uh, it's important to have a little trial, um, and not, and kind of record your mistakes, learn from them so that you can do better the next time and make your life a lot easier. Like the dyeing process, the stamping process, the gluing process, kind of like the order of a lot of things I would change. And I think one of the things that was the biggest difference in a lot of the videos I watched and what I did is that not a lot of the people that I was watching were they were dyeing their leather. Like a lot of them, they were getting pre-dyed leather, and then um, they would just use edge stain. So like if the, like the edge stain was a slightly different color, who cares? But like um, be- because I'm doing like a larger surface, it is harder to keep it even. I was when I was doing my contact cement, I got some contact cement on the outside of the project, and so I was like, how do I get this off without removing my dye or making my dye even more uneven and all this stuff. So it made me kind of really consider the steps that I am doing for take a measurement real quick because I need to attach um, my loop, a little loop that's going to go around. Need to attach that uh, about an inch down. So if you have a stitching pony, um, you can, it basically, what it will do is it will clamp your work like this, where only the top comes out like this. Um, and you can either use stitch markers like this, or you can use ones that don't go all the way through, and you'll use something like a stitching awl, which is thinner than this. This will do if I have like a really thick part. Like when I did my pleating right here, I had to use my awl to really get like a solid hole through all of the pieces of leather, because I wanted to make sure it was down and really secure. Um, but you can do that, and you can kind of move faster, and it takes a lot of pressure, I believe, off of your hands. And honestly, that sounds like 110% worth it, because this is a lot on your hands. And unfortunately, just being someone who kind of just doesn't really have great joints, I guess. I don't know. Like, do I have bad joints, or am I just doing a bunch of crafts that don't really agree with my body? Is it because I craft more than the average person does because I am disabled and that's how I keep myself busy? I don't really know. Um, I mean, I've always had I've had knee pain for a long time, probably since I was like 12 or 13. Um, and I, uh, Okay, so this is where I'm going to put in I'm not dyeing the inside. I don't feel like I really need to, but maybe I can change that in the future if I give a shit. But so I'm gonna go through this layer and then this layer. And just kind of sandwich that in between. Now you could use something like contact cement to like help hold it, but you stitch it well. I don't feel like you really need all of that up in your way. Plus, the contact cement does make it harder to go and stitch through. Um, okay, so just getting through all 3 layers of the leather. The more layers you add, even if it's just one thin layer, I promise it makes it so much harder. Even if it's punched, it's just like, okay, well, let's be a little bit more miserable right now. So I'm just kind of going through and I'm using this to visually see where my holes are. That helps quite a bit. Okay, so we have that first part of this attached. Okay, so we're hopefully going to be able to finish this side and then call this a night on this project because I really do want to niche and crochet tonight. And if I do a bunch of stuff with my hands for this leather project, I'm not going to be able to. Granted, all I have to do is sew up the other side because everything else will be done. So I started at the bottom because I knew that's where I needed the most focus to really make sure that I had that uh, to really make sure that I had that all figured out where it came to pleating and making that look relatively even and clean. There are also some parts where like maybe the leather, like one piece of leather sits like a little bit off of like the other. I'm kind of thinking of like, it would be nice to maybe take some contact cement and go through the edges after I did the stitches. I'm not sure if it's worth it or not though. It's just that the felt sticks through that and I kind of don't like that the felt separates the leather. Like if the felt didn't separate the leather, then that would be one thing, but I need the felt to be of size at the top. So it's like I could cut in the felt a little bit once it got to a certain point. Um, but I don't know. Like really, I just need the felt for the top that folds. Well, I guess not. because the felt is made to keep the plastic canvas in, and the plastic canvas goes all the way down to the bottom. Does it need to though? We have 2 layers of leather here. This is a thicker leather. Would keep it pretty secure, but I don't know. I just have my doubts, and I wouldn't want someone to put their trust in this as a secure hook place and then not have it be as secure as possible. Like that's the point of getting it if you get it. So like, I wouldn't want to. I don't know. It would feel like I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Does anyone know what I'm saying? Do I know what I'm saying? So now there are multiple stitches out there. I think the saddle stitch is a really popular one among people who do leather work. It just looks really neat. It gives a really secure hold, and it just has like a really nice look to it. So I think this is maybe like my first time um, like doing this much of it. The thing about the using the gloves is that the back of the needle, which is not sharp but is still thin, will poke through the glove at some points, and I'm like, why is there the back of the needle? This is strange. But yeah, like there's some stuff on like the edges that I've already done that I'm like, I should have waited to like do that at the end. That would have yielded a better, more consistent result. And I'm okay with spending some time learning because I'd rather take the time learning how to do things right than just I enjoy learning and trying new things, and I think that's what as a crafty person, we do, right? It's like we're not going to be able to pick up every single craft, every single thing that we do in life, and just like be perfect at it. Hi, welcome in. And so I'm having fun just learning it. It's a lot more precise than things like sewing, which a lot of people who sew are very precise, but I'm not very precise when I sew. So I can be like, nah, sewing's not precise. But some people are like very precise, like quilters. Like quilters are like the most precise of any craft I've ever like heard of, to my knowledge. But then like I I'm like, the line is straightish, good enough for me. But with leather, it's like things have to like line up and like do what you want, and it's a lot less like wiggle room. Now, it's not the most precise craft I've ever done. I did in school. There was like a stained glass class. I don't know. I went to a magnet school. It was really weird. um, but there was like a stained glass class, and that is very precise because glass does not bend. At least leather bends a little bit. Um, so um, that was very precise, and I was not very good at it. The more precise, I guess, the craft has to be, the less good I'm bound to be at it. So I guess I'm trying to decide how I want to do the top of this. Like if I want to go do one extra hole above where the top of the shorter piece of leather hits and kind of go around it and like seal it in or not. I think I'm gonna do that. So I'm just gonna take my awl and poke in an additional hole there. Go through with the correct needle. I think also if I did a lot of my edge work, like um, if I did that with the once I had done all the stuff, I could like cut off any excess felt. I could I feel like I could just kind of get into what I wanted a little bit more. Also, I think it'd be really cool, and I don't want to like make a custom stamp, but I don't exactly know how I would do this. Maybe I'll talk to the people at the leather store. But I think in like I like the multiple smileys. I think like on the smaller part, the shorter part, I think a bunch of the smileys is really cool. But if I wanted to like make it my own, I think like having like just a big smiley right here at the bottom would be really cool. And I wonder if I could get that. Can you order custom stamps? Sure you can, right? I just post on Army of Weirdos that everyone's trying to bankrupt me with all of this amazing Halloween yarn. And I find it very impolite because the Halloween yarn that I want and crave all year round, that I might be able to like squeeze a little bit here, squeeze a little bit there, know that it's just dumped on us all at once, and then we're expected to just buy it all up all at once. And it's like, why can you not just um, okay, what was he doing? Okay. Oh, that's some other. I guess it doesn't have to be leather. Custom leather logo, 1068. That's a really good deal. That's a really fucking good deal. $9.98, a leather brand. See, that one, that looks really scary because that just has like that is just, it has like a center pressure over this big, huge stamp. I wonder if these embossing ones, they have like, you have to like roll them through something that, oh, okay. So this one has like a big old handle thing. Does it come with a handle? It does come, it has a handle option. Oh, okay. Only straight handle, only curved handle. Then there's like some, what does this even mean? Whoa, this is wild. Okay. Oh, okay. Okay, I'll look at this because that's pretty cool. Because I think if I just had like, if I made like like a custom smiley where it wasn't just like a regular smiley, but maybe like the bipolar smiley, I think that that would be really cool. Or I could just do like a drippy smiley because those are cool, and I do like those a lot. Um, I don't know. I might like let you all help me pick out my logo, but because I've just gone kind of with whatever's available. How do you get that message? Why is my hands so slippery? Was it my phone that was slippery, or what's happening? I feel like it's pretty clear that YouTube is not pushing out my notifications because I know there are people who usually show up that aren't showing up like me would normally, which, you know, they could be busy. That's cool too, but like, it's interesting. If it was on Restream, I wouldn't have this problem. But, okay. I like that I went over the edge. I feel like that looks cleaner. Okay, I'm gonna take this one. I'm gonna go inside. So I'm gonna do a stitch and a half. Now, this part you want to be a little careful about. So we're gonna tie it off. And when you tie it off, because this is synthetic string, you can melt it together a little bit with some heat, and that'll kind of help melt the strands together. You shouldn't impact your leather at all. But because I've used felt right here very close to it, I want to be very careful as to not melt the felt. Melt the felt. Okay, and let me get some heat source. So you don't have to do this. I just really like to make sure things are secure. It's an insecurity of mine from the days of beading. I just like I've made so many projects that have come undone over time because I didn't knot things well enough, or they just come undone, just as things do. And I just get really fucking nervous. And you don't want to like melt it so completely that it's like charred off the map, never to be seen again. But so this is what it looks like all sewn up on that side. You can see that there are some variations of the green on there. So this is what it looks like with one side sewn up and the bottom sewn up and pleated. And so what I'll do next time I sew, which is the last step of this prototype, is I'm going to bring this side to meet the back. Let me show you the back. Wow, these are bigger than I thought. This is a medium, okay. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to sew this up and also this is going to get sewn into this here. Straighten it up when I actually sew it. So that this is what the final product will look like. And then this will come down here and go through this. This actually turned out pretty good, all things considered, for a prototype. I think it's pretty decent. But yeah, I think that, yeah, I think it's pretty good. Now that I'm thinking about it, so I have to dye it before I sew it, which means I can't do the edges. Yeah, that sucks. But so like there's some like felt that's sticking out from the side. I don't know if you can kind of see that fuzz right here on this side. There's some felt that's sticking out. So like I could take some scissors, or I could take a little bit of I could take my blade, and some of this is just from the fold and not really having any place to go. I don't know. I'll figure that out later. But it looks like it's going to work out pretty well. So that's exciting. I think I'll have to show you all what it looks like when it's done. See if we like the small smileys all over, or if I should do a big smiley with like a logo that's just for me on it. That is exactly the size of the tab, so that I can just like center it down and then have it just be like right here at the bottom of the logo. Now, granted, it would be cut off by the strap, but that's not the biggest deal, because like, boom, then you see the logo. This would obviously be sewn in, but like you would see the logo like super easy. So it wouldn't be the biggest deal, especially if like there was the logo, there was the smileys on like everything else. That would be cool. The more I move this, I feel like the more the contact cements. Like, you know what? Let's not really hold anymore. Yeah. I'll have to re-glue that. Give it another try. Okay. So, so yeah, that's what the next step will be. But my hand physically cannot. I mean, I might be able to get through it, but I won't be able to do like literally anything else. My hand already hurts quite a bit. So I think I'm going to log off for a little bitty. And then I'll be back on later for our movie night. And yeah, but this is actually probably one of the coolest things I've made. Uh, how quickly it's turning into something that I'm like really feeling is surprising given how many doubts I had about whether or not I could actually make it. I do really want to make sure that I'm not stealing someone else's design. That is very important to me. I think ethically speaking, for me, like it's just not cool and like something that I want to like stand by, to be like, yes, I exactly stole your design. So something that made this different. Um, I am still kind of. I mean, I'm using real leather, um, but like, I mean, I took their measurements. I like stuff like that. I think that like I have this idea of doing like a like maybe a small travel uh hook roll where I have a couple of things like these, but they're all connected, and you can roll them up and then you can tie them together. And so you can travel with like maybe three, four hooks, and they're all in kind of like little compartments like this. But then they're wrapped up and you can unfurl them, and then you can have like just show like one hook at a time. I think that that would be pretty cool to have something like that. And then they would be like very, very protected because they would have not only the plastic canvas on the outside of the whole thing from each part, but then they'd be protected from each other on the inside with the plastic canvas here. So I think that that's definitely something that I want to look into and just try to like innovate from their design into something a little bit more personalized. I could also cut different shapes, different sizes. I think knowing that for me and a lot of people who use furls are kind of the universal sizing for for ergonomic hooks. I don't really want to play with the sizing too much, if I'm being honest, but it still is like I don't want to just carbon copy something that someone else did, slap my name on it, and make a buck. I don't think that's cool. And even though this is not a product that they currently sell, it is a product that I got from them, and so I want to make it my own. And I mean, the you know, I want to kind of do something a little bit different with it. So, what exactly shall I do? I don't know. Ooh, what if I did like a two-sided one where I had like it was kind of like a situation, but it was like two of these like back to back. Or like this could be it would have to split up to be two pieces of leather right here, but it could be one piece of leather right here, and then like up to like right there, and then you could have two hooks that you could travel with, and it would be like a little heart looking situation, or scissors that kind of looks like scissors, right? And that would be cool to like have two hooks that you could carry, and then that would be like a precursor to like the four or the six or whatever I decide to do. I know when I travel, I never quite know what I'm gonna do. Like sometimes I have projects planned that are on the hook, and sometimes I'm like, I have some yarn and I want to make something out of it. Not sure what hook size I'm gonna do, so I want to bring a couple different hook sizes. And so for me, like a hook roll would be something that would actually be really helpful. Um, so yeah. Hmm. Thoughts. But yeah, the two is kind of intriguing. Although sewing through all of that leather at the bottom, mm, really want to do that. I mean, it'd be worse, but could be better. Could be better indeed. Yeah. Guess I'll have to figure that out. But yeah. And then they would be, because they would be, I wonder if you had them together, would you even need the um, the inside to be sturdy? I feel like you'd want it to be kind of sturdy, but the leather's pretty protective. I feel like you'd want I feel like you want it to be sturdy, which means you got to sandwich it between two things. Sandwich it between two pieces of leather. You might as well. You're gonna have to split it here anyways. Yeah. Okay. I'm just thinking out loud. Okay. Well, I'll talk to you all later. Bye.